My coverage of CES 2019 is brought to you by Corsair, Enermax, Deepcool, and Cooler Master. My next stop at CES was EVGA, and they were having a little bit of a party when I stopped by, so I'm recording this after the fact. But they had two products I wanted to share with you guys. The first is the RTX 2080 Ti KingPin Edition, which is going to be EVGA's best, nicest, fastest, most overbuilt graphics card, at least in the 2080 Ti range. This card has a laundry list of specs. I'm going to run down them for you. It features a 19-phase VRM. It has three 8-pin PCI Express power connectors, and it features hybrid cooling. So there's an all-in-one liquid cooler that has a 120mm radiator that directly cools the GPU, and then there's a 100mm fan you can see that's directly blowing air over the copper heat sinks, and those cover the memory and the VRMs. There's also an LCD display on the side of the card that will show you GPU stats while it is running, including voltage readings, temperatures, core clocks, GPU utilization, and so on. It's got a custom 12-layer PCB, a 3-way VBIOS switch, so you've got 3 VBIOSes to choose from, which is very handy for overclocking. And one of those VBIOSes actually has a 520-watt max TDP setting, so that would allow you to potentially lift NVIDIA's power limits for the 2080 Ti, which could lead to some extreme overclocking, which is what the KingPin card is always made for. Extreme overclocking. Thanks, Vince. Speaking of voltage, you have easily accessible voltage read points via the Probit voltage measurement points. You've also got a little EVBot plug as well as a 4-pin PWM fan header, so you can connect up additional fans to this that will run based on the GPU temperature. Also note that the video outs on the card use some mini DisplayPort ports, which are smaller, so you can have all of the video outs on a single row. They made it like that so you could remove the cooler, which is a 2-slot cooler, and add a single slot full cover block, which should be coming out at some point once this card actually launches. That would give you a single slot solution. Of course, you'll also probably be removing the cooler on this card if you're going for super high-end overclocking with LN2 pots and everything, but I think in that case the single slot thing is less of a concern. I happen to think this card looks pretty beastly, especially when you look at the whole package with the all-in-one liquid cooler and everything. Unfortunately, though, we still have no word on frequencies as well as release date or price. It's probably going to be expensive. Next up, a product that we probably all expected from EVGA, a sound card. Actually, no. EVGA has never made a sound card before, and technically they're not calling this a sound card. It is an audio card, because audio is better than sound. So in case you missed it, last year at Computex, Gamers Nexus went to EVGA CEO Andrew Hand's house, and he is an audiophile. He has an entire room dedicated to audio equipment of all ranges, but all very, very high-end. So that was kind of the inspiration for this audio card, and it is called New Audio. It was designed in collaboration with AudioNote. It features a 6-layer gold-plated PCB, AudioNote capacitors and resistors, and a Texas Instruments powered regulation circuit. You also get German-made WEMA capacitors, AKM4493 DACs for digital to analog conversion, and AKM5572 ADCs for analog to digital. EVGA wanted to focus on clean, pure audio for this card, so they used an XMOS X-Core 200 processor with an emphasis on true audio reproduction, rather than modifying the source track with post-production. This card is powered by a single SATA connector. It can drive up to 600 ohm headphones, and it supports up to 384 kHz 32-bit audio files. The ports on the back include stereo RCA, a 1/4 inch, and 2 3.5mm jacks, as well as a Toslink port. There is also an HD audio front panel header on the card as well, but I would highly recommend against not using that because you really want to be plugging directly into the card's jacks itself. When you buy a high-end sound card like this, it is not a good idea to run your analog audio through the very electrically noisy computer and up to your front panel mic and headphone jacks on the computer, which are often very poor quality. So Andrew actually took me aside during the little EVGA party, and he forced me to listen to some of his very high-quality, high-bitrate audio tracks. I can't play these back for you because of licensing, and you wouldn't be hearing them the same way I was anyway, but hopefully by my reaction, you can see perhaps that I was engaged in a rapturous auditory experience with clear separation between individual instruments as well as vocals, crisp highs, and voluminous but not overpowering bass. Now, to be fair, this experience was probably enhanced by the cans I was wearing, which are Audio-Technica ATH-W1000X Grandioso headphones, which retail for about $600. But as any audiophile will tell you, if you want that kind of experience, everything from the sound source to the headphones that push the sound into your ears needs to be really high quality. So in all honesty, I would not expect this to be a product that suddenly reignites the sound card industry, but it is a new option for those who do like really high quality sound. I think another reason is that most people just don't get the opportunity to actually listen to a setup like that, as most people are just comfortable wearing normal headphones, which work just fine, but you really have to have kind of an A-B comparison to sort of appreciate how much more clarity and depth of the sound you can get, especially if you have like a favorite audio track or something like that, and you listen to it again on this setup, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's sounds there I've never heard before. Also, there is the selling price, which is going to be $250. That is more money than lots of people spend on their graphics cards, so there's a trade-off. If you're an EVGA Elite member, you can get it for $200. But guys, that is going to wrap it up for my coverage of the EVGA suite here at CES 2019. Thank you so much for watching, and of course a big thank you to my sponsors for this event, Cooler Master, Corsair, Enermax, and Deepcool. If you'd like to see more videos, check out my CES 2019 playlist, hit the thumbs up button on your way out, and we'll see you in the next video.